This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 433, 3 Steps to Quickly Build Credibility.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers, and have you ever been in a conversation where people are casually trashing the sales profession and people forget that that's what you do for a living? Exasperating, right? Given the tarnished reputation of sellers by our culture, this creates a special challenge when working with prospects and to break through their skepticism and build trust. How do we do that? How can we show that our products and services look like credible solutions to real-life problems? That's the topic for today. And now today's chapter, 3 Stages of Credibility. Considered a stranger, the buyer is quick to judge the seller. From dress to speech, from handshake to eye contact, credibility starts. Considered an unknown, the buyer measures the company. From experiences to brochures, from references to network, credibility proceeds. Considered a possible solution, the buyer vets the product. From ease of use to flexibility, from meeting specs to cost, credibility is cemented. Seller, company, and product. This is the threefold path to credibility. And now today's story. Pat listened in on a few outreach calls. Dial after dial, Chris started to explain the benefits of the company's flagship product, but far too often, the prospects quickly became skeptical and ended the call. At the end of the morning, Pat pulled Chris aside and shared some insights. This is the thing, Pat started. I appreciate that you've learned all about the features and first speak to the benefits, but you're missing 2 important steps. What's that? Chris asked eagerly, since any advice that accelerated the call ratio would be much appreciated. Well, said Pat, you first need to sell you, then the company, and then the product. Sell me? Chris asked quizzically. What do you mean by that? Pat explained. If people don't trust you, they won't trust what you say. Credibility starts with you, personally. Then the credibility of the company comes into play, especially when you sell services like we do. People want to make sure you're not charlatans looking for a quick transaction. Once they trust you and the company, then the credibility of the products come next. This is the order to build trust. First the seller, then the company, lastly the product. This is the path of success. To be persuasive, we must be believable. To be believable, we must be credible. Credible, we must be truthful. That's a quote from the journalist Edward R. Murrow. Murrow was trusted for his reporting over the 1940s to the 60s, including the Second World War and the Joseph McCarthy censor hearings. Murrow deeply believed that trust is the start of any relationship. As sellers, that's where we start. That's square one. I'm often surprised how much of a sale hinges on feelings and emotion versus logic and business plans. That stuff comes later. But credibility is how we earn the opportunity to play the game and to step up to bat. Trust me. Start at trust. Now, to download a copy of this week's Tao Te Ching of Sales chapter, you can find it in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com. And if you could do me a favor, I'm doing a research study to better understand the interest of sales babblers and selling challenges that they face. I'm going to use this data to improve the podcast. If you could go to salesbabble.com and start the survey, it'll only take 2 minutes, I promise. It's 100% confidential. Thanks for helping out. Now to get back to credibility, if you want to talk deeper about this topic, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's set up a time to talk for a coffee or video chat. I'd love to meet you. And now that's all for today. Until next Tuesday, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.